The second group that I was with is my Fundations group because we're working on the foundations of English language. So letter sounds and building words, reading words, basic words, and tapping out the sounds, how to decode. Because we really see, and what we found is that newcomers that come in, a lot of times they'll come in with language skills in their own language, but that transfer into English can be difficult, I mean, for everyone, but especially when you don't know the basics. And what happens is when you come in fourth or fifth grade, there is no reading group that is working on the basics of language. And it would be inappropriate to put them into a group with first graders or kindergartners where they're learning letter sounds. But those are the basic skills that they need. Those are the basic building blocks that they need. And so we had seen this problem over the past couple of years as we have newcomers come in. We've said, like, we just need a way to teach them the code. If we could just teach them the English code, then they would be able to start making these connections faster because they do have language skills. If we can get back to the basics. And so we use a program called Fundations, which really does simplify and go back to the basics. And so they learn all of the letter sounds, and with the vowels, we just focus on the short vowel sound to begin with because that's what they're going to see the most. And they learn to literally tap out every sound that they hear. So as they're reading and they get to a word they don't know, they can just tap out the sounds and then put it together to be able to decode and read that word. And at the same time, it gives us an opportunity to teach sight words. We call them trick words because you can't tap those words out, and those are words that just have to be memorized. So we practice those. And we do it in that small setting, again, to feel safe because that's not the kind of reading instruction that a normal fifth grader is getting. And so if we were to do that in the regular classroom, it would not feel safe. It would feel like, why am I doing this simple work? And they're over there reading a novel. And again, we want to honor the relationships that they have with their peers. We want that to be maintained. So we do it in another setting where they're free to make mistakes. This is part of the learning process, that we're learning what the sounds are. So we're going to get it wrong, but then we learn how to fix it and to make the next one. And so it builds on itself. So once we've learned all the letters, then we start moving into longer words, or how funny English can be. When these three letters are together, it makes this sound, but we say them together, and all of those tricky parts of English that you wouldn't get from just reading a book, but to get back to the basics.